Hello, welcome back to the channel. I'm Martin and we're back with Loki. Last time on Loki, well, let's be honest, all shit hit the fan pretty much. So our two Lokis working together were captured by the TVA, interviewed, went through the whole rigmarole of them trying to figure out what the plan was. Are they working together? Have they known each other? All that shit. But then, you know, things steadily unveiled themselves and the two Lokis were presented to the timekeepers as they thought they were, and they had their opportunity to really figure out what was going on with the TVA, why they're there, what they're doing. Turns out they were robots and they don't actually know anything more than what they did previously. And there's an even bigger mystery now that we know that the baton things don't actually just wipe people out. They apparently teleport them somewhere, as we saw with our universe's Loki being transported to somewhere. It seems like it's the place where all the sort of aborted timelines and versions of that person are sent to. Hopefully we're going to get a bit more details about what that place is, how it works in this episode, and who knows what's going to happen. Honestly, this show keeps throwing spanners in the works and I don't know where it's going to go next. It's impressive, honestly. But I'm looking forward to it. This should be fun. I'm looking forward to seeing even more versions of Loki and how they fit into this picture. So yeah, with that said, let's jump into this episode. Now, this is the place that Loki was sent to. It looks like it's the fucking sanctum, fucking Doctor Strange's place, the crib, you know, where he hangs out. That's what was Avengers Tower, but it definitely didn't have the big A on it. I mean, I might be missing the biggest headline here. What is the fucking big purple smoke? I'm just too busy looking at all the other shit that's on the screen. Oh, he's a big monster. Oh my god, he looks so... Ugh, that's pretty fucking cool.
How is he still alive? And how will saving him get us closer to who's really behind the TVA?
I'm telling you this willingly.
Why?
Because I want to know who's at the top of this. I want to know who lied to me.
I don't trust her. I trust her less than Loki, which is weird. Granted, her whole reality has come crashing down around her, so she might have a vested interest in figuring this out. Unless it's her the entire time. But we saw her as a young agent, so...
That the end of time is still being written. That the timekeepers are transforming it into utopia.
Well, that sounds like some bullshit, doesn't it?
And now I'm surrounded by variants of myself, plus an alligator, which I'm heartbroken to report I didn't even find all that strange. And God knows what, and I get to God knows where, but I need...
This is the place where the TVA dumps its rubbish. Everything they prune.
Everything comes here, it's not just a Loki world.
What was your Nexus event, Your Majesty?
I killed Thor.
That would do it. That would do it. Hey, what's that doing there? There's a tiny little Thor. What the fuck?
So, what about the end of time? It's just a void. What if the void isn't the end? What if there's something beyond it?
Well, it's the perfect hiding place for the truth. Huh?
And I guess my need for you has passed.
Wait! What about the Void spacecraft?
Yes.
Why was the fucking hologram so eager to save her life? What was that about? I mean, as good as plan as any, to be honest, at this point.
Everything proceeded correctly my entire life until Thanos attacked our ship.
So you didn't try to stab him?
Certainly not. I cast a projection of myself, so real, even the mad Titan believed it. I removed myself from the equation, landed on a remote planet and stayed there in isolation.
Interesting. It's sort of the theory everyone had about what Loki did in...
How did the TVA find you?
Avengers.
But as soon as I took my first steps to getting off the planet, the TVA arrived.
So they were happy until he tried to leave. Did he fool the TVA into that he died, or did they just not care until he tried to leave that planet?
I'm gonna kill Elias, and I could use all the help I can get.
Good luck with that. I do not think anyone's gonna help you. Yeah, exactly. Oh, hi.
Hello.
Man, talk about a show having its cake and eating it, but you know, they're pulling it off, so fair play to them. I mean, she got a bad spawn. She got a bad spawn. Like, she is, like, spawned right next to death. What the fuck was that? What was that? Please, God, say this is Owen Wilson in this car.
You! Can you shut the door?
Yeah, there he is.
I betrayed you, and now I'm king.
About that.
Yeah, that's not gonna happen, is it?
Come on.
They're all gonna betray each other. Oh God! Oh God! Follow Richard E. Grant. He's got somewhat of a level head, it seems, despite the costume.
Okay, we'll help you.
Woo, Team Loki. Here we go.
Goliath is a death sentence.
How do you attack something that a massive Hoover? Suck it all up.
Turn around? What, go back to the angry cloud?
Yeah. I think it might be the answer.
I mean, it probably is. Let's be real. Like, the only thing that shows any kind of, like, connection to the TVA is the big angry cloud.
While he's busy with that, we can sneak around the back and...
Sneak round the back. Okay. Good luck with that.
Us as a child, us in the future, and us as an alligator. We haven't decided how we're going to kill it. But
Sorry,
yeah.
come again. Kill it?
Yes, we're going to kill Goliath.
Oh my god, that was your plan. And you all went along with it.
I was having my doubts.
All right. Okay. So, how do we get past the guard dog?
I'm going to enchant it.
Oh my God. Good luck with that as well. These two plans require a lot of...
A giant cloud to death.
Listen,
I don't know what, to be honest.
I'm going to...
I believe her. If she thinks she can do it, let her have at it.
Whoever created this place is in danger. I need to find them.
Okay, right away, ma'am.
I'm struggling to find her angle in all this. Like, does she just like her job that much, apparently?
You really don't remember.
Like to let people know the truth.
So just like that, you're turning on the very thing you devoted your life to.
I mean, he didn't devote his life to, not really. He was brainwashed into it. He devoted his life to jet skis, goddammit.
Maybe it isn't so bad.
I betrayed my father, my brother, my home. I know what I did.
Has he learned from it, though? Has he
I
learned?
know why I did it.
Hopefully he has.
And that's not who I am anymore.
I mean, that glimpse into the future really did him some good, didn't it?
See you later, Loki.
Why does this feel like a finale?
Thank you, my friend. You're my favorite.
This is TV. I just want to remind everyone that this is television. Oh, that's a distraction for your ass right there. Oh my God, he's just fucking rebuilding Asgard with an illusion. That works.
We're going to enchant it!
I don't know how.
There's the arc.
Because we're the same!
He's gonna learn how to do it. Maybe could have chosen an easier target for his first enchantment, but that, you know, that wouldn't be as epic. Oh my God, caught about cutting it close. Talk about. God, I was just so wound up there, I can't even talk anymore. There we go. Whew. Alright, well. That was intense. Right, that was the reaction to episode 5 of Loki. If you enjoyed it, please hit the thumbs up button. Let me know you liked it. Let other people know you liked it. Maybe consider subscribing. But for now, we're going to talk about this episode. Here's the thing. The thing about this show is that it continues to visually just impress me a lot. Like, in here, we've got clearly a lot of money was spent on this episode, and it's television, and yet it still retains that kind of that 70s aesthetic, that even though obviously this episode was much bigger and delved into the more fantastical elements of Loki and the universe that he inhabits, and like those two things, the big epic sort of fantasy element of the sort of Loki 4 universe and this new kind of 70s minimalistic like sci-fi kind of take, could easily not go together very well, but somehow the show merges those two aesthetic choices really nicely together. And the fact that they got away with here with Richard E. Grant in like the most comic booky of comic book outfits, and it felt completely in place and yet wild at the same time, is really damn impressive. So on all those sort of levels, the show continues to impress. It really does. At this current juncture, it's obviously hard to say when you haven't seen the final episode of the season or whatever, and how it all wraps up. But Loki by far and away has been my favorite of these Marvel shows. It just, like I've said previously, it just hits all the right notes for me personally and my sort of tastes and all that stuff. As for what we got in this episode, it's another peeling back of layers here, where we got to see where we go next. Like, we got this big, like, monster thing, which I wasn't expecting in this show, and it had a cool sort of visual design for something that is smoke, but with the big sort of monstrous head in there, and I just liked that kind of weird sort of ethereal kind of design for a big monster. The idea of maybe something inside the smoke sort of lurking, that's kind of fun and mysterious to me, and I like that stuff a lot. And then just the big talking point here is just all the different variants of Loki. Obviously we got Richard E. Grant in here doing his sort of Loki of the future, and I found it really interesting that the TVA didn't seem to notice him until he tried to sort of come out of his retirement because he got lonely. So either the TVA or whoever's running the TVA was fooled by the whole, when he tricked people into thinking he died to Thanos, is that he managed to trick them as well. That he did, like, they all thought he had died, including the TVA, the people who run the TVA, or they just took offense to him trying to re-enter the universe and tried to recontact all those people. I don't know. It's interesting. It's an interesting thing to sort of think about what the priorities of whoever's running the TVA actually is. Hopefully that's what we'll get in the next episode. We'll get a little bit more information from what their actual objective is, because so far all we know is that they want to keep one solid timeline and they don't want branching paths, but we don't actually know the real reason. They say it's because they believe that it would tear the universe apart, having all these different timelines sort of swaying and bouncing off one another. But I have a suspicion that there's probably more to it than that, because allegedly, according to that, like, it just seems weird to me that if that was going to have happened, it would have happened anyway. Like, it would have happened before the TVA and whoever got into this whole thing of trying to condense it all into one timeline. So I do wonder if there's an extra step that we're not being. I mean, I assume so. So I assume there is more to be discovered with this, and hopefully we'll learn all that, or at least a decent chunk of it in the next episode. We also got more of the sort of will they, won't they of the two Lokis, and try to see if what their relationship actually becomes. I feel like the show is playing it, or trying to play it kind of coy at the moment, where they could just become friends, or maybe there'll be more than that. Like, it's still weird to me to think of them being sort of a romantic interest. Like you know what I mean? But if they're the same person, and I don't know what that is. It's just weird to me for some reason to try and create that kind of romantic bond. But it feels like it fits into this show and what the style of it is, and yeah, I don't know. I mean, I will. It's one of those things that when we get to the end of the show, we will see how it is done, and if they even both make it to the end of the show, because that's, you know, still on the cards. That one of them might not. So we'll see how that all progresses. I still find it a little bit odd, but whatever. That the show does what the show's going to do, I suppose. We also got a Tom Hiddleston Loki who seemed to be just him amped up from Avengers, like to 11, like with the vote Loki badges and stuff, and the fucking alligator bit his hand off, which, you know, that was pretty gruesome for something on Disney Plus. That was blood splatter and everything. I was pretty impressed by the fact that they did that. And then there's just Loki, our Loki himself, like this whole. It's interesting seeing this character growth because, you know, by Thor Ragnarok and, you know, beginning of Infinity War, it felt like that Loki had grown into someone wanting to do better, but didn't really know the right way, and ultimately his sacrifice to Thanos was kind of that step that he wanted to take, but it ultimately got him killed. Here we're getting to see a Loki who, you know, sort of with that foreknowledge, because he skipped ahead and saw what was meant to happen to him and the person he was endeavoring to become. And I felt like the show could have gone one way or the other with it. He could have seen it as, if I try to be good, it's just going to get me killed. And, you know, jury's still out. That might still be the case for all we know. He could be lying this whole time. Or he sees something in himself that he didn't know was there, and it's sort of, as he said in this episode, it's sort of changed him for the better, and he wants to have connections with people. He wants to have connections with Sylvie, and he wants to be friends with Mobius, and, you know, all that stuff. It's interesting to see this character development throughout the course of this show, and, you know, that's what all these Marvel shows have been, you know, excelled at, honestly, is just taking that character, vocalizing them, and just making them much more three-dimensional. Like, with all the Marvel shows thus far, you know, Wanda and Vision, you know, in the movies, they were kind of interesting, but they weren't fleshed out really at all. Didn't really get much screen time, so you didn't really get an idea of truly what motivated them and what their headspace was. WandaVision allowed that to happen, and the same with Falcon and Winter Soldier. We got bits of, like, Sam and Bucky, we sort of knew bits and pieces about them, where their heads were at, but we didn't really get a chance to understand them. And Falcon and the Winter Soldier, that's exactly what that show did. It allowed us, the audience, to really understand them, and Loki's doing much the same, and I'm really enjoying all the shows for that, primarily, that we're getting to see these characters who were, you know, in their own ways crucial to certain movies, but we never really got to see their characters redimensionalized, and that's what I'm enjoying most about all this. And, you know, Loki is no different. We're getting that here as well, and it's been a fun ride thus far. I'm really enjoying it. In terms of speculating what is actually going on, like who is running the TVA, who created it, honestly, at this point, I have no clues. My comic book knowledge isn't vast enough to even venture a guess as to who this could be. I mean, I suppose, like, the obvious choice for this is that it's a different variant of Loki, right? Like, it is the Loki who achieved universal domination by creating a singular timeline that he or she could keep an eye on and keep control of. So that's kind of where my mind is at present, that it's just going to be another variant of Loki who took over the universe via controlling time itself. Like, that's the thing that comes to my mind. But other than that, I'm sure there are other characters in the Marvel pantheon that it could well be. I just, you know, my knowledge just doesn't go that deep. I mean, my knowledge is very basic, but, you know, maybe more than a casual fan's, but it's somewhat basic compared to the vast amount of comic book material there is out there that it could be. So at the moment, my speculation is that it is a variant Loki that is just finally done it, achieved universal control via time control, and Also, the thing I find interesting is how they sort of mention the writing at the end of time, like it's still continuous, like they are doing something at the end of the time for a reason. So hopefully we'll see what that's all about as well. But yeah, as I say, really enjoying the show. Long may it continue in this good stride that it's in, and hopefully it sticks the landing at the end. So, yeah, good times all around. Thank you for watching this video, guys. If you enjoyed it, please hit the thumbs up button. Lets me know you liked it. Also helps the video get seen by more people. Maybe consider subscribing as well so you don't miss anything in the future. Also, there's plenty of other content on the channel. Please go and see that as well. I would be very much appreciative of that. But that's it for now. I hope you enjoyed it, and I will catch you on the next one.